Octobu. Boo! Don't. I thought you were going to scare me.
Oh, there was a spider in your hair.
Don't. There's not. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games
and
board gamey things.
Boo games and boo gamey things, because why? It is Octobu.
But this isn't a scary game.
Yes, Jeff, it is. Do you want to know why?
Why?
These are games that will never die.
Okay.
Right? The theme is like death
It's not.
for Octobu. So, you're wondering, what's this game about? What's this video about?
Yep.
It's not even a game. What's this video about, you say? Well, today's video is called Games That Will Never Die. Scary? Are you scared? Are you scared
I
yet?
feel like that's not scary.
You scared? Should be. So basically...
What's a monster that never dies? Vampires?
No, they can die. You put wood through their heart.
Mummies?
You set them on fire. Frankenstein, also fire. Ghosts.
No, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but they don't die. They just get sucked up.
Oh.
So, today's video, my friends, is all about board games that just won't die, or that we believe will never die. And what does that mean? It's games that just will stay relevant, stay popular, stay on the top of people's minds, be the game that a new person might be like, oh, well, I've played this game. Or if you talk to somebody that you work with who's suddenly like, hey, I'm into board games, I've played this. And that's the same game that you hear over and over and over again. These are games that just won't die.
Can we do
it's a good thing.
Quick PSA. Cut to me. PSA. This is subjective. It is okay to disagree.
No, it's not.
That is fine.
You shouldn't disagree with us.
But just remember, this is our list of games.
And it's objectively correct.
And if you don't like it, that's okay.
Tough.
That's fine.
We don't care. So we have selected 10 games, and then a couple at the end we'll just mention games that we hope will never die, or that maybe we think are never going to die for us.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's kick it off with the first game on the list. This is Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah.
This game is a freaking modern classic. It has had so many different editions. What are we on? Edition 17 at this point?
I think it's only 3.
Okay, well, we own the newest one, and it's amazing, and it's freaking beautiful, and we love it. And there is just something so special about this game. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's like, it might be perfect mechanically.
I think so.
It might be the perfect game mechanically.
I think of all, like, we love playing this at 2 players. In our opinion, I believe best way to play it is at 2.
Yeah, I prefer to 2. I know a lot of people prefer to 3, but I prefer to 2.
Yes.
But it's also so good at 3 and 4. Like it.
Yeah, but I would say like this is one of our favorite heavier medium weight games that we play at 2 players. Like if we're not looking to get into a card game or like Patchwork or something like that, and we want to set up a bit of a meatier 2-player game, this is the one that we would go for.
It just can be so mean too.
It can be so mean too. And it's on BGA, which means a lot of people have access to it. It's a classic. Everybody's heard of it. And we played this when we first got into the hobby. And I am almost always in a game of this on BGA. We've played the physical game, I think like a month or 2 ago. And we're even like yesterday, like, oh, maybe we should set up Castles of Burgundy.
I suck at Castles of Burgundy and I still play it. I think I've won like twice.
I don't think I'm good either.
I've probably played this game 30 times. And I think I've honestly won 2 or 3 times. And
it will never, ever die.
Next game is more so a system. So we're kind of cheating. But
it's our video.
That's what we do. It's the Pandemic system, but we're talking about Pandemic here.
Pandemic and all of its iterations.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've expressed our dislike for...
Unfortunately, this game won't die.
Pandemic. However, we have been warming up to the idea of trying Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
We have only ever played the original Pandemic, which I know is blasphemy, because there are a jillion. Cthulhu Pandemic, you got it. Iberia, why not? Star Wars, how about it? We actually own that one.
We do actually own that one. We could play that one.
We could play that one.
That's true.
Continue.
But yes, pandemic is just, I think, going to continue to be around.
Yeah.
In its however many iterations. It's at this point similar to some of the other games we have on lists that I won't spoil, that just keep iterating and iterating and iterating.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really no
version
end.
For everyone.
There's no end to that iteration.
No, and it's accessible.
Yeah.
People who aren't in the hobby
know about it.
And most have played it. A lot, I think, played it during the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
because of the irony of it all.
Theme transcending the hobby.
It's just not going to die. It's sticking around. Hey, all aboard. Choo choo. Ticket to ride.
It's never.
As if you could.
It's never going anywhere.
This just reminds me of Twilight. As if you could outrun me. As if you could fight me off. That's Ticket to Ride talking to you.
What were you just referencing?
Twilight.
Like the movies?
That's correct. Or the books. Yes.
Do you remember the baseball scene?
How could I forget? I literally just rewatched all the Twilights last month.
Ridiculous movie scene of all time. Anyway.
Okay, so Ticket to Ride is a game that everybody can play. So many people enjoy, regardless of your level in the hobby. We play Ticket to Ride and we love it. When we went to, the first time we went into the Boardroom Game Cafe, there was a huge Ticket to Ride tournament. We're like, what are these people playing?
So many people there.
So people know about it. It's easily accessible. There's so many different variations of it. There's expansions you can get. There's children's versions you can get. There's everything. And people love trains. This is science.
I think Ticket to Ride does something special. Not only does it transcend all of the different varying degrees of like people within the hobby in terms of like people that like lightweight games, midway games, heavy games. I feel like most people enjoy Ticket to Ride to some degree. But not only that, it transcends age group.
Yeah.
Like everyone plays this game.
Yes.
And loves it. Like
young, old, in between.
I'm sure there are some other games that you could probably bucket into that, but it's one of the few.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree. I don't see it going anywhere.
Yeah.
And when you said it transcends board games, that just took me back to an old video where we said that Wingspan transcends birds.
You said that. Don't put a we into there.
I'm pretty sure you said that. I have to find the video.
I don't think I did. Next up on the list is one of my favorite two-player games of all time, and probably one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Twi Struggle.
Twi Struggs.
Twi Struggle, I mean, you could just look at the BGG Top 100 list if you wanted, proof of this. I mean, it came out in what, like 2005, and it's still in like the top 20.
I never played it.
Twi Struggle is, if you want to talk about another game that might be perfect design, Twi Struggle is up there. I mean, there's some people are going to be like, I prefer Watergate or like some of these other card-driven games that have, that do now exist.
Fine. They're just iterating on Twi Struggle.
I don't know if Twi Struggle was the first like card-driven game. I'm sure it wasn't, but it's a game that I talk to people that aren't in the hobby that know about it. Like, this just happened to me. I was just at a work party. Mm-hmm. Someone came up to me because I knew we were into board games. Like, hey, I heard you're in board games. Like, these are some ones I like. And he, like, mentioned Twi Struggle and some others. And I was like, this game is, like, just everywhere.
It's just everywhere.
I think it's intimidating to some people.
Yeah,
but I think it's a lifestyle game. Like, I think if you're into Twi Struggle, you are in.
It's not a choice. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is a little something called Unmatched.
People are going to probably disagree with us here, but
feel free.
We'll fight you on it.
Feel free. Don't care.
So many IPs they could grab.
There's so many already, and this game is limitless. Limited paper in a limitless world. That is what Unmatched is. So Unmatched has already so many different sets that are spanning the Marvel universe, like all of like old IPs, well, not really IPs, but like Dracula and Bloody Mary and like Gladiators and all of these things. There is a set out there and there is a character out there for everyone. And I truly believe that Restoration Games is just going to continue pumping these out, because why wouldn't they? The game is so fun. You can play it with your kids. You can play it with your friends. You can set up a tournament. It's easy to learn. And it's quick to play, and it's just one of those games that I don't see going anywhere. I don't even know when it first came out, but I feel like it was forever ago.
I feel like it's a perfect amalgam. They've developed a really, really key recipe insofar that each set that comes out somehow feels different. They are so good at developing uniqueness in card play that every set feels different. The system is so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And then add that on top of just like, as Jamie mentioned, an endless supply of IP. Like they could go in any direction with this.
Go anywhere.
And it's just a recipe for continued success.
Mm-hmm. Hundo.
Yeah.
Speaking of transcending birds, Jeff, the next one?
Wingspan. Wingspan is a game that no matter who you talk to, if they've played a board game or interested in board games, they probably have either played Wingspan, want to play Wingspan, or have heard of Wingspan. It just blew up. It took over everything.
Yes.
And it's still out there. For example, we were just out walking our dogs, and we've met our neighbors a few times, and they found out we're big into board games. They're also big into board games. Well, they're also into board games, and they were just wanting to chat about this game that they found called Wingspan. It's just accessible. It looks good on the table, and it's got a theme that resonates with so many people.
Yeah.
And it's a good game. Like,
Yes.
it's just never... I just don't see it ever going anywhere.
No.
It's always going to be floating around. It's always going to be readily available for people to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to just continue to bring people into the hobby. It's the new, like, gateway game.
What is one of the best games of all time? Objectively. That's right, it's Villainous. Now, I don't think Villainous is ever going to die. And you're probably like, Jamie, is this one of those games that you put on the list because it's your favorite?
I think this is actually my pick.
Yeah, Jeff brought it up, so just so you know. Villainous, there's so much more that they can do. They've already gone into Marvel and Star Wars, and there's still so many Disney characters. There's so many more Pixar characters. There's so much more that they can do with this game. Yet again, another game that is easily accessible. It's easy to learn. People are going to gravitate towards it in general because it's Disney, and everybody loves Disney, and I'm not biased at all about that.
I think a lot of the common theme of not all of these games, but a lot of these games is that, like, they're somewhat easy to get tabled and learn how to play them. Yes. But there's a depth of strategy that keeps you coming back to it every so often. Yeah. That'll just continue to propel them forward.
I think there's a couple things with this list. Number one, it's what you just said. And number two, it's games that keep producing new content that doesn't add to or make the game like more complex.
IP,
it gives you more characters. It gives you more to do, more to explore, more to keep your curiosity piqued, more to get excited about.
Might tweak a little thing, but it's not changing the core
Villainous and Unmatched and Pandemic, whereas like Castles of Burgundy and Twilight Struggle, it's just like you're just going to continue to develop that strategy, and it's just So agreed. I believe that Villainous belongs on this list. I hope it never dies, and I don't think that it will.
Yeah. Next one on the list is a game we've actually never played.
Speaking of easy to table.
But I think probably fits this the best.
I would say, yeah.
Of all of these games, and that's Twilight Imperium. Again, not a game we've played. It's currently on its 4th iteration.
We have the 3rd one. Did we get rid of it?
No, we
have it. We have the 3rd one.
Still have it, I believe. Yeah. Not a game. I don't know if Jamie will ever play it. I will play it if I'm in the right environment. Like if I was with the Table Knots guys and they wanted to.
You should probably play it when you go visit them.
Maybe. But again, Twilight Imperium is beloved by many, many, many people. It's that epic space battle theme, like 4X game. Is it 4X game?
I think so.
Just epicness that takes like 8 hours to play.
People love it.
People freak out about it. And again, it's on its 4th edition. So,
and I feel like it's one of those board games that's almost a rite of passage. It's like if you are in the hobby at some point,
you need to try Twilight.
You gotta try it, right? Next up on our list is a party game that is called Monikers. Now, I just want to preface this by saying Monikers, Time's Up, Celebrity, that very random game that you play with your friends that you don't know what it is, you don't have a board, you don't have a card, you make it up by yourself. That's Monikers. That's the very first time that we played Monikers. That's how we played.
It was
our friends were like,
of paper
"Oh, we have this. We've played this game. Here it is." Like we put paper in a bowl and all of this stuff. Monikers is a party game that involves like 3 stages. There is guess this word, say whatever you want. Next step is say one word. Third step is charades. It is insanely fun. People love this regardless of where they fall in the hobby, outside of the hobby. You can play with your family, with your work, with your friends, with your whatever. And it's never going to die. And it's because, like I said, people are playing this game and they don't even know it.
Yep.
It's transcended games.
It's transcended games in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like Jamie said, the first time we played it was just pieces of paper. There was
And
no
then
title to it. It
years
was just...
later, we played Monikers and we're like, we've played this before.
Correct.
But it didn't have a name.
It didn't.
So it'll never die. Because it is the nameless. A game has no name.
This is how I was waiting for the Game of Thrones reference. Last up on the list is a game that we haven't resonated super well with.
I like it more than you do, but yeah.
But I will give credit where credit is due. It is super cute, and it is pretty flawless mechanically, and that is Everdell. It has been iterated on a ton as well. Everdell is just a really smooth, I guess, kind of like tableau builder. Yeah. With cute little resources and cute little animals.
Squishy
it's
berries.
super welcoming. It's super approachable. And I think there's like multiple ways you can kind of play this game and digest this game.
Depth of strategy with that
whether
one.
you're, first time or kids or, new to the hobby and you see this cute little game up on the shelf.
You see the Evertree.
I don't think
like,
Everdell is going to go anywhere.
I don't think so either.
I think they will continue to iterate on it and it'll continue to be one of the top however many games.
Has a digital implementation, and that's another thing that I think helps games stay alive. Most of these games, not all, most of them have some kind of a digital implementation that you can play.
And I know there's many, many, many other games that you could list here. We can only pick 10. So that's why we picked these 10, but again, we understand there are many others that weren't mentioned here that could fall into this category as well.
Listen, we have to stick to the laws of the top 10s. Anyways, here's some more games. So games that are never going to die for us personally, Fuji Flesh.
Correct.
Good luck trying to kill that one off. They tried to stop printing it. Joke's on you. We found a copy on eBay. No big deal. It's amazing. Never going to die. For me, Final Girl is definitely one of those games. I hope that it just continues to, there's new sets and new killers and new whatever. It's another game that's kind of like villainous and unmatched in that way because there's so many horror movies and there's even like horror movies that haven't come out yet that could have sets.
I think like specifically for solo gamers, like if you're a big solo gamer, likelihood that you are big into Final Girl is probably pretty high. Yeah. And again, like they can keep iterating on that. Root, I think, is one for me that, in full transparency, I haven't played a Root game in months. We played like a half of one, but Jamie was in it. And if Jamie's in a Root game, it's never going to get finished.
The game will die if I'm in it.
But we're starting one tonight, actually. We just talked about it with my friends over at Table Knots. Go check them out, Max and Doolin and Kyle.
I'm not invited.
We are going to play a Root game. Root is a lifestyle game for me. It's given me some of the best gaming moments I've ever had, and I've only ever played most of those plays digital. As long as I'm friends with Max, Doolin, Kyle, Sam over at Lord of the Board, also go check him out. Root will always be on this list for me because I love Root and I love playing Root with some of my best friends.
I think another one for us is Fantasy Realms.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just like, it's our favorite card game.
So smooth.
I had originally written down Sea Salt and Paper, which we love, and that may be one that never dies. I think it's still too new to know, but Fantasy Realms is always a game that we go back to.
My concern with the Sea Salt and Paper is if something came out that was better than it.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with Scout. Because
like
Scout used to be that
card games
top
are susceptible to that.
And Sea Salt and Paper came out, we're like,
Sea Salt and Paper is...
It's amazing. We love it. We play it all the time. But it's just too early to tell. But Fantasy Realms has stood the test of time and will continue.
Fantasy Realms is just so smooth.
So those are the games that we believe will never die. Immortality. They are ghosts. They could be sucked up by a vacuum, but they can't die because they're already dead.
Someone's going to come in the comments and tell us how ghosts die. Just saying.
Do it. I want to know. Please. I'm here for that kind of engagement.
Yeah, they turn into ectoplasm.
Goo?
Yeah. Does that not mean they're dead?
No, I don't think they can die. I honestly don't know.
I think you're wrong.
I also don't believe that earwigs can die.
I actually believe that's true.
Or
you kill one and then another one just pops up alive somewhere.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Anyways, that is everything that we have for today. Let us know down in the comments what are some games that you think could fit really well in this list. We'd love to know. Feel free to join the Discord and continue this discussion.
Yes, please.
Why not, right? We love the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
But that is everything that we have for you all today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games, like any of the many we mentioned today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. For us, that is...
The Boardroom Game Cafe.
Yeah, do you like snacks?
I do.
Perfect. Where do people get snacks?
Munch Pack.
Exactly. I also do want to give a shout out to our channel sponsor, Raskellers. You can see these beautiful shelves behind us, which they made for us. And beneath us is a table.
A Raskellers table.
And sometimes you'll get to see it when we play games.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later it is. It's a stretch.
I don't think I've stretched far enough.
A bit of a stretch.